Our guest today is Stacey Hall, and this is a part of our business entrepreneurs group. And so, in this Facebook group or group of people, we talk about the business side about being in natural health. So, I'll give an introduction about Stacey. So, Stacey has over 30 years of experience in small business marketing in various industries such as real estate, university alumni programs, network marketing with Young Living essential oils, and self-help coaching. Stacey took her vast knowledge in marketing and authored two best-selling books called Attracting Perfect Customers and Cheetah Bee. These books teach you how to transform yourself and your business into an irresistible magnet for attracting and retaining perfect customers, employees, vendors, and stakeholders. The success of these two books led to her creating the Fastest Attraction Mastery Coaching Program. Using her fast attraction principles, Stacey has also built an extremely successful business as a leader with Young Living essential oils. So welcome, Stacey.
Matt, thank you so much. I'm going to have you write every one of my bios for anything I do coming forth from here. That was beautiful. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you for being here. And I thought I'd, start off by telling the audience. So we've known each other now for maybe 4 or 5 years, and we met. We were working on a Young Living project together back then. And I know when I first met you and got into the network marketing or learned a little bit about it, I thought that it was, some people were doing it like as a get rich quick. And I can say that your success has not been driven by luck at all. It has been driven by hard work and dedication. And over 4 years now, I've always wanted to partner with you to figure out how to do business together. And
Yeah.
I've always been asking, how do I do what you do in terms of building this big network of people and of followers and of people who listen to you? Because when we do conference calls together, all your people join, right? They all
Yeah.
join. And so you're very, very good at this. And every time I ask Stacey, what do you do to build this network and have such an engaged network? She always comes back to me and says, well, have you read my book, Cheetah Bee, yet?
Shameless promotion, Cheetah Bee.
Yeah. So tell us, I guess we're going to talk about Cheetah Bee in a little bit, but can you tell us a background about yourself?
I would be happy to. And I'm going to tell you, truly, if I had had the option to take the luck way, I would have taken it and still would every single time. I think luck is far more fun. So I've had to find a way to have fun while working hard. And I started working when I was 13 years old. I was a server in a nursing home and went on to there to scoop ice cream. I was the first woman scooper at Homer's Ice Cream in Winnetka, Illinois. Shout out if it's still there. But truly, I was raised to know in my family that if you were going to get ahead, you have to work hard. Now, I'm also going to say that along the way, I did a lot of work on myself because just because I might drive myself doesn't mean I have the right to drive other people. I used to think I did. And there were people who would let me, they to a certain extent because they go, okay, I want what you have. Okay, you got to do it this way. And then they find out that they couldn't do it my way and they're not supposed to do it my way. And adjusting to that and saying, okay, so what do I have that I can teach without forcing it down people's throats was a many, many year exploration. And my first book, Attracting Perfect Customers, was only a small piece of that. So I always tell people the best part of that book, plus everything else I learned about how to be successful without driving yourself into the ground, is in Chi to Be. Chi as in the energy to be successful, to be energized, to be happy, to be balanced, or as I like to say, to be harmonized, because I like to take my examples from nature. And I don't think everything in nature is balanced. It's definitely symmetrical and it's harmonized. And so not everybody has the same skill set. Not everybody has the same drive to be successful in the same way. But all of us have the potential that we were given. And I believe that everybody wants to fulfill that potential fully, Matt. And so I'll stop there to see if what I said made sense before I go on and answer the rest of your question.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I know that your background's like your original background, you didn't start off in healthcare, and I'm not even sure if you would consider yourself really in healthcare. You started off in marketing, right? And so really you've used your marketing. And when I think of marketing, and probably a lot of people who are watching this, we think of like, advertising and promotions and and online clicks and stuff like that. But when you speak of marketing, you speak of it in a very different way, right?
And marketing has always been for me nothing more, nothing less than building relationships. And it comes back to me. I had an epiphany. I get them every once in a while. Thank you, God. Um, that if I was destined to be of service to certain people, right? People always say, I'm here to be of service. Okay, well, then you know that you're destined to serve. If that's the case, doesn't it make sense that we're destined to serve certain people and they're destined to be served by us? It's a two-way street. How do you make that magnetic connection together? Most people call that the law of attraction, but the law of attraction sounds very woo-woo, not scientific at all. And it is actually a principle of science, just like law of gravity, law of attraction is the energetic vibration that brings two people together or two things together as opposed to opposed. So there's a very quick way for us to become more magnetic to the people we're meant to serve. And so while this may sound woo woo, just remember it's based in quantum physics. That way I have found is to remember to stay connected to what's the most important thing in the entire world to me. And the most important thing in the entire world to me is actually to make God smile by helping to make other people smile more. So when you say, am I in healthcare? No, what I'm in is helping people to be able to smile more. And that isn't by telling jokes necessarily, it's by helping them be able to fulfill their potential. Because when we feel good about ourselves, we feel like we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, the smiles naturally occur and we're in harmony with ourselves and our universe. So that's the work I'm in. And it's the work I was in when I was in marketing because I helped the companies I served to be able to make stronger connections with the people they wanted to attract by using their products or their services to help people fulfill their potential. So for me, it's all been the same thing, and God has just led me to various places. And how I wound up in network marketing was a fluke. It was because of the reason I'm even still congested today. As you know, I'm usually have some respiratory stuff going on. I ran myself into the ground. I was in bed for 2 years and 3 months for the most part with a debilitating illness because I didn't know how to harmonize with myself. I just kept serving and serving and serving others. And so chi to be is inherent in it is how do we maintain our own energy first in order to then attract the people we desire to be of service to.
Okay, and you call that, I believe you call that an attraction catalyst. Is that right?
Well, it's turning ourselves into being attraction catalysts. I'm an attraction catalyst or an attraction master, and everyone has been gifted with the ability because it's scientifically wired into our body. We are energy. Physically, we're energy, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, whether somebody has a connection to God or not, they're connected to something bigger than themselves. And so it's utilizing that energetic vibration within us to attune to attract the people we're meant to be of support to in whatever way we're meant to be of support to them.
So you wrote the book Chi to Be, teaching others about how to be an attraction catalyst and
Yes.
about your methodology for marketing, which is, I, I have an MBA. I took many marketing classes. I was never taught any of this stuff, right? So, very different than what you're going to learn in school. So you wrote the book. It got published by one of the Young Living publishers, I believe.
Chi to Be is published not by a Young Living publisher, by Life Science Publishers. That's the
Okay.
publishing agent who happens to publish books related to the essential oils field and other wellness fields. It was, yes, it was taken
Got
in
it.
by their publishing house, but it just so happens they are also the publisher for a variety of oil books, some of which are related to Young Living.
Got it. So you had obviously the book it did very well. I guess not obviously to people watching, but your book has done very well. And as people started reading it, you started getting phone calls from other people saying, "Hey, can you coach my team about the book?" Right? Like we're gonna read
Yes,
it, and can you come in and
yes.
coach it? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I would. And I also want to tell you that I also went to school for marketing, advertising, and public relations. And I thought I was learning this in school, what I learned. And it wasn't until I got out and I started coaching small businesses that people would say, Stacey, I've never heard this before. And I realized that whatever the teachers were saying to me, I was just hearing this other stuff going on. And I will also tell you, never been fired from any of my jobs, and every marketing program I ever produced met or exceeded its goals for those companies. And now I am in the process of supporting other small business owners. But so many of those folks have come forward that I've taken my training and put it into audio programs because there's only one of me. That's the best way for me to clone myself. So the program that most people enjoy first is a small piece. I'm going to point to the book again. Chapter 4 of this book teaches you how to create what I call a strategic attraction plan, the actual process of transforming yourself into an attraction catalyst through a 4-step process. And when people read that chapter, and in the book, I also provide a sample template plan so you can follow it, steal from it to create your own. I make it pretty easy. But as someone starts to develop their plan, they realize you can go deeper and deeper and richer and more abundant, and how to handle more abundance so that it doesn't overwhelm you. And I've turned that into a 6-hour audio coaching program that you mentioned, which is called the Fastest Attraction Program. And I'm just going to give the website here. It's beanattractionmaster.com, beanattractionmaster.com, to access that audio program that I've shared with thousands of people to transform them into attraction catalysts too. And do I have testimonials from them? Yes, you'll see many of them at that website.
And so what I think is pretty neat about what you've done, which I find interesting. So my business partner, Dr. John Fitzgerald, has a couple of books as well that he wrote. What I find very interesting with yours, and I think there's quite a few people who write books, but what's interesting with you is you were able to take your book and and not to talk business terms, you were able to monetize it through something more than just selling a book, right? You were able to turn the book into more of a program or a guide and essentially serve as a business consultant, helping teach and implement what's in the book, right?
It's funny that you mentioned, you and I have never talked about this, but I actually had the opportunity early on to just give the book to like a third party coaching place. Like they would have paid me a fee and I would have had nothing more to do with the book. They would have gone and created a coaching program. And I've got to tell you that sometimes when I'm in the trenches, I'm like, why didn't I just do that? But I know why I didn't. It's because as simple a read as my book is, and it's very simple to read, the concepts in it are anything that people would agree with. It's the daily practice of maintaining that approach and actually putting these into practice, each of the 11 principles, and staying with it. And I honestly didn't think that somebody who was working for a company, an hourly employee, not their own business person, if you will, would really understand what it takes to stay quote unquote attractive or stay energized from morning to night to be able to do our best. And our best is going to change, of course, minute to minute. And so somebody has to be there, I believe, to hold a hand as we start to make changes in what we've been doing to where we want to go. If it was that easy, we'd all be doing it minute by minute, day by day. And blocks come up, fears come up. personally, right now, I'm about to embark in someone else's program. I'm about to open myself up to learn some skills that I don't have in the area of social media marketing, because all of that's brand new since I was in school. And even I am noticing, oh, remember about our mental chatter. And I go, Stacey, what energy search are you going to use to deal with that? So that's why I've recorded all these programs. I have others as well, but most people like to start with becoming an attraction catalyst. And then I have a program called Achieve Success in 60 Days or Less, which takes you chapter by chapter through my book so that you're sure that you're doing it right. Because I know there are people out there who aren't sure if they're doing it right. So, Achieve Success in 60 Days or Less. I have a program on how to break through blocks. So, various programs for wherever somebody wants to begin.
Yeah. As a business guy, when I look and evaluate different businesses, the concept of books has never appealed to me. And it hasn't appealed to me because you work really hard to find one person to buy the book and that's it. Right? They don't continue to buy it, they don't use it, right? I'm in the food business, right? So you eat it and then you have to rebuy it. And that's a great business model, right? Because I work very hard for one customer, but then I get that customer every single month. And
Yes,
so the value or the cost to acquire a customer for me, while the cost might be high, the return is very high because I get month over month sales. With a book, you don't get that. You just get one sale. And
yes.
and for people out there who have written books, I would say that this is a great piece of advice. Is there a way that you can do what Stacy did, which is take a book that you've written and then kind of morph it or create something more out of it, right? A whole program around it and teaching and consulting. Because I bet, as you talk about your network and how it's expanded, I mean, think about how many people you're meeting, right? When you're going
Yeah.
out and teaching and giving these programs, right? And you're now coaching the coach, right? Which is it's
Yes, I have
huge.
I have a coaching certification program in the book, and there are already coaches who have been certified and are doing it, and I continue to be of support to them. And that's really how the legacy goes on. But man, I'm going to be honest with you. There are people who write a book and then think about how to monetize it from there. And this for me was more organic. I was asked if I would write the book. I wasn't even prepared to write it. I was out doing workshops and I didn't want to stop what I was doing to write the book, but I was getting so many requests. And the same thing happened with my first book. I was doing workshops. People wanted me to write down what I was sharing. So at a certain point, I went, okay, I'll do it. And then it was really from the place of, oh, not that people are just buying one book. I'm not making a lot of money, although that would be a smart business thing to think
Yeah,
about
that's what
because
I
I
think about.
did and I do now. But it was more of they're letting me know that they've got the book, they're not using it. How can I help them use it? And so then it went on. And now it is more of a program and they're using that program longer, and of course I charge more than I can for a book, for an audio program, or for private coaching, or for certifying coaches in the process. So it did become monetized. But for those people out there who are thinking to themselves, I wrote a book. I didn't think to do that. Don't beat yourself up. It's never too late. Help people use your book better or more often or more effectively. How can you do that?
That's a great piece of advice. The follow through, right?
Yes.
I mean, anything in life, whatever it is, you can give the most perfect piece of advice or the perfect diet plan or the perfect marketing strategy, but if they don't follow it, it's worthless. So,
And yes, and thank you for saying that because I was getting there, didn't actually let the words come out. I know that where most people fall down, and going back to network marketing, the place we fall down is not doing the follow up. We talk to somebody, they express interest, then they don't get back to us right away, and we go, oh, they must not be interested. No, they just went on with their lives. They're not as involved in it as you are. So my word out to anybody in business, network marketing or traditional business, Follow up, follow up, follow up. There are ways of doing it without being obnoxious. And if you know what is most important to the person you've been talking to, not what are they interested in about your product, but how is your product helping them be able to experience more of what's important to them, then you have a reason to follow up. Now you've got a true bond because they can feel you sincerely want to understand them, not just shove a product down their throat.
And yep, I totally agree. That's hard. It's hard to do, but if you can do it, I it is very, very effective. And that's what gets you the word of mouth referrals too, right? And that's the
Yes.
most effective. I mean, we all learn this in advertising 101. The most effective form of advertising is word of mouth, right? So you can spend however much money you want to try to advertise your product, but to Stacy's point, if you make that real personal connection with someone and actually help someone, they're going to do the advertising for you. It's going to be better advertising and it's free advertising. All it took you was probably a little bit more time with that one client and actually caring about them, right?
Yeah, and it's I'm gonna say sometimes a little more time, but most of the time less because let's say I've got a whole product line, which I do, and along with the other products I sell. Okay, how do I know which of all the things the person wants unless I ask? Now, if I say to them at the beginning, what do you want to know about? How would they know? They have no idea. But if I say, all right, talk to me about what's important in your life. What's the most important thing in the world to you? What would you want to have more time to do? Or where would you want to put your energy? Talk to me about that first. Now I'm listening. Now I understand. Now I know what I have or don't have to be able to offer to them. And I did this last night. I'll just give you all a tip. I had to go to the grocery store. It was late. I was tired. When I say I had to, if I wanted to eat well, it meant going to the grocery store on my way home. And as I was checking out, what I went there for, there's a particular store that has one item that I love, and I make a special trip there when I really want it. I went, they were out of stock. And as I was checking out, of course, the person said, did you find everything you wanted? And I said, no, unfortunately, I didn't. And usually they're like, oh, what a shame. But this gentleman said, what was it you wanted? I can put in a special order for you if you'd like. Well, now my trip wasn't a waste. I'm like, how much do I have to order? He said, you can just order one. We'll make sure we get it in for you. We put it aside. Wow. Takes out the slip of paper, asks me for my number, my name. He was gentle. He was kind. It was everything I needed at the end of a long day when I was tired. And I said to him, you've got great customer service skills. I really would love someone like you on my team, helping take care of my team members and developing your own business using those skills. Have you ever thought about starting your own business? He said, no, but the smile went from ear to ear. And I said, yes, you have. And he said, yeah, I kind of have. I said, okay, if I could help you get started with very little money, would you be willing to have a chat with me? And he said, yeah, I would. And we exchanged information. I sent him some information. I'll follow up with him today. And I'll continue to follow up. Maybe not every day, but over the course of time. And just remind him of the smile, because, right? He smiled, which was what my
Right.
mission is about in life. So it doesn't take a lot of time. I did it while I was in the checkout line of the grocery store.
That's a great story. I have a question here that I write and ask everyone, but I feel like we've covered it. So I'll just ask it and see if you want to add anything to it, which is the audience is a wide variety of natural health entrepreneurs, right? We have a lot of nutritionists, we have some dietitians, we have some doctors, we have some food entrepreneurs like myself. But so just a general piece of like, what would be the one biggest piece of business advice that you would want to make sure if there was one thing people took away from this from listening, what would that be?
Well, you're right. I mean, there's a lot of things that I could say. I'm going to come back to if you're not asking the people you meet, starting with your own family members, what is the most important thing in the world to you, then you are missing out on a true bond connection. And either you'll know right away that this is somebody that you don't want to have in your life, and you're going to save yourself a lot of time, worry, money, attempting to take care of somebody who's never going to appreciate you, or you're going to find that you've made a very fast and long lasting friendship when the two of you connect, as I like to say, to the same beat.
Well, Stacey, I really appreciate you taking the time here. Thank you so much. And for the audience, if you look at the post, we have links to the Facebook group that this is a part of, and we also have links to Stacey's book Cheetah Bee, as well as her a link to her self-study program, the Fastest Attraction Mastery Program. So, Stacey, thank you very much for all your time.
Matt, the pleasure has been all mine. It's been an honor and a blessing. And thank you for introducing me to all of your fans and followers because I learn from you every day. And I've got more questions for you about how to create all of this. I think you're going to be my next social media mentor as well. So thank
Just
you.
a tech guide, technical guide. All right.
It's necessary these days.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, and we'll talk later.
Take care.